Hello everyone. The theme for this video is confessions and sacrifices. The story Paper Menagerie has affected us all in some ways or the other. It has made us learn and realize that Jack never got to know his mother's sacrifices and difficulties, and when he did, it was too late. The story might have been different had only he known what his mother's story was. And so, we decided to talk to our parents and listen to their stories, their sacrifices.
This week, I sat down with my mother and talked about her past. I think this was the first time in many years that she told me so many things. She told me about the time she had fun with her friends and family, and also the time she had to give up a lot of things. She told me how I wasn't ready until now to hear about all of that. She believed that I was too young to think about all those things. She told me how she had to give up studies before she got married, how she had to look after her siblings all the time because her parents weren't home, how she had to look after the house as well, how she had to stay back from so many things she wanted just because her family couldn't give her that because she had to take care of other things. How she gave up so many things just because of others. It made me realize a lot. It made me understand her a lot.
When I was a child, an incident happened in my family during a summer holiday that my mother had a car accident one night. I can't remember some of the details. Seems like the other side of the family kept picking a hole in, though there was nothing wrong with my mother. Because of this, we removed temporarily to an apartment near the private school my sisters attended. I don't remember this time very well, except that whenever I asked my mother what had happened, she would just touch my head and said, "Make sure." And then 2 months later, the matter seemed settled and we were back in our home. Not long ago, when I brought the thing up again, she finally told me what had happened. At that time, my mother was threatened by that family, saying that if she refused to give them 500,000 yuan, they will keep harassing us. And then, to make everything even worse, our family's financial situation was not really good. Then I asked my mother why she never told me and just said "make sure" to me. She just smiled and replied, "Because the only thing I want is to let you and your sister grow up happy and healthy."
Our parents usually make various untold sacrifices. Coming back home after a whole year staying away from them, I got to learn a few of these selfless acts. The worn out shoes that my dad is unwilling to replace, the strands of white hair, the wrinkles on my mom's forehead. These all tell a different story, which are somehow also not that different. You see, I don't belong from a rich family, but my parents still want me to have the best life possible. So they slave away in the hopes that someday it will all bear fruit in the form of me leading a good life. One of these sacrifices that hit me the most is how my mom actually delayed her retirement, ignoring the cries of her aching knees, just so that I am financially secure.
Growing up in a Hindu conservative joint family, I witnessed really tough morals and customs. Mom got married at a very young age, and according to our so-called traditions and beliefs, she has to take up the role of becoming the traditional homemaker, keeping her education aside, and sadly couldn't chase her dream of becoming a lawyer. Father was the sole breadwinner of the family, and however, my mom finally decided to continue her studies on the side. She appeared for her exams and aced them all with the hope of landing into her dream job, maybe someday. Sadly, she couldn't because it wasn't acceptable by the rest of the family. She has to give up on her dream so that we can have the best life, always making sure we had our best when she's at her worst. saving up for our future instead of spending on herself. I can still see a hope in her eyes.
This week, we all got to know some small but significant part of our parents' lives. And maybe it will change our lives, and maybe it won't, but it will affect how we see them. It changes how we see their actions, their behaviors, the things they got and the things they missed, and how it all affects their behavior and their nature. From this week onwards, we understand them a bit better.